Well, this Sunday is World Press Freedom Day, a celebration of independent journalism and the men and women who risk their lives to bring us the stories that really need to be told. It's more important than ever this year, after 2025 became the deadliest year for journalists since records began, with 129 killed, mostly in Gaza. Here in London, an exhibition by the Rory Peck Trust is showcasing some of the most powerful photojournalism from the past 12 months. Among them, images captured by reporters in Gaza, Iran, Ukraine, and the US and beyond. I met Trust Director John Williams just as the exhibition was opening, and he agreed to show me around. Have a look.
Of the 129 journalists who were killed last year, around 90 of them were in Gaza. And most of those, they were not journalists at the start of the war.
That's right.
They have picked up the baton as others have fallen and continued to tell the story. And Mariam is a good example of that. Mariam was a freelancer, despite working with AP, she was a freelancer. It's just a tragedy that she's one of the more than 200 Palestinian journalists who've been killed over these past 2.5 years.
And I think this is an important point to just bring to the viewer's attention, that Rory Peck, like CNN, like BBC, like so many others, continue to this day to ask, to push, to press the Israeli government to let us into Gaza.
And not to, because...
Demean at all.
Absolutely. But in order to relieve the pressure
100%.
on the Palestinian journalists who for the past 2.5 years, amid everything else of trying to find shelter, trying to find food, worrying about their families, have continued to go to work. And as I said to you last time we met, I cannot believe that in the history of journalism, there has been a demonstration of such commitment to the craft of journalism as we've seen in the last 2.5 years.
And this exhibition paints a picture of just the crises we are facing, the world is facing, because right here, just as I turn to my right and my left, US immigration stories that have really been front and center in the news. We've got one here. Talk us through these two, John.
So this, I think, is an extraordinary image, which you see the office from ICE putting their hand through the window and the glass shattering. And on the second one, from the Associated Press, we see federal agents. They had moments before gone into that house with a battering ram, and the woman who lives in the house had come to the door outraged that her front door had been torn down, and they then went and arrested her husband.
And I'm going to go back to this photo because you see a Mexican flag, but this is actually United States.
It's Los Angeles, yeah. Just the way, the composition of this, it could almost be an oil painting. Just the way that the car is burning in front of you, through the smoke, you see the guy with the Mexican flag. This is the United States in 2025, as it was, is extraordinary.
What role, what responsibility these decades later, centuries later, does the President of the United States have when we're talking about democracy, values, journalists, who just last week, of course, continues to attack journalists?
Well, for decades.
The responsibility of that, John.
For decades, the United States has been the defender of journalism of last resort. So when journalists were detained in Egypt or elsewhere, it would be the United States that would work quietly behind the scenes to get them out and to ensure that the First Amendment was respected. The tragedy now is that actually those days have gone. And actually, not only is the United States not lifting a finger to help journalists overseas, journalists in the United States are being arrested and detained. Just look what's happened in Minnesota. When
you and I spoke, was it 2 years ago, we spoke a lot about Ukraine.
We did.
A war that has been forgotten, particularly forgotten by the United States. The conversations you've had, John, with journalists who have covered Ukraine, how do you see this moment?
It shows that normal life goes on, and it speaks to the resilience, not just of the journalists, but of the population of Ukraine. It is a key moment because unless we continue to support the Ukraine people and the journalists in Ukraine, then we won't know what's going on. And that's why, in terms of the title of the exhibition, Witness, Truth and Trust, nowhere is that better defined in a sense than in Gaza and in Ukraine, where we are entirely reliant on people to be our own witness, to bear witness, and from that flows the truth and trust. And if we have no truth, we have no freedom.
When you look at all these images, all these photographs, what are the messages that photojournalists, the journalists are telling you? Is there a unifying message?
Let's just remember, this was journalism's deadliest year ever. And the message that it sends to me is that actually the courage of our colleagues, they are there because they are determined to tell the truth. and they believe the truth deserves an audience. And that's what they do day in, day out. And so this exhibition is absolutely about celebrating the courage and the commitment of our colleagues wherever they are, because without them, we have no truth.